Hi, welcome to Control Talk now for the week ending January 3rd, 2016. That's right, folks. It's 2016, and we are going to do another year of Control Talk now, the Smart Buildings videocast and podcast. My name is Eric Stromquist, and we talk about all things smart controls and HVAC controls. I am joined, as usual, in 2016 by the man, the myth, the legend. Getting better in 2016, the one, the only, Kenny Smyers from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Welcome to the show, Big Dog.
Well, thank you very much, Eric. 2016. So that means we've been doing this for over 3 years now. And I tell you what, it seems like the first time every time, because there's one thing interesting about our industry. It renews and refreshes itself almost on a weekly basis. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of big stuff coming up in January, and I just wanted to wish the Atlanta Falcons good luck in their last game of the year. And
going right back to you with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh
right?
Man, I don't think we can make it. I think you guys are actually in a position that you can win a wild card. I think we're
I think they're mathematically out right now, Big Dog.
Oh really?
They're out. But they beat Carolina, and they're on the come. If they can win today, they play New Orleans. They'll end the season 1-3 in a row. That's good momentum for next year. So, and what about the Steelers, man?
Oh, gosh, we had an opportunity handed to us on a plate, and we choked. Had we won last week, but let's see, New York Jets, Kansas City, there's 3 other teams ahead of us on the wild card. So I think y'all have to lose, and it's almost like ridiculous. So, but again, football's fun, but it comes and goes. It's just, to me, it's like the benchmark of the calendar. I just cannot believe that we're in January already, and the year's over, and football season's over, and there's 91 days till baseball.
Well, I know it's hard to believe, but all right, buddy. So let's just real quick make a prediction for the Super Bowl, and for our Control Trends community, reach out in comments and do your Super Bowl predictions. I'm predicting the Arizona Cardinals versus the New England Patriots. What about you?
I think it's a very good projection. I'd kind of like to see, in other words, Arizona's earned their playoff game against Carolina. I would like to see Carolina make it to the Super Bowl. I don't think anybody's going to beat New England when it comes down to it.
They just always find a way to win.
So I line to New England, yeah.
Yeah, which is good stuff. So Kenny, New Year's. So any New Year's resolutions for you this year?
Well, yeah, but some of them are personal. Some of them are little individual objectives. But I think what I'd like to do is take the opportunities we have, and some of them we'll discuss in the show, and really explore them. I'm finishing that book, Bold, again. I read through it. I kind of cursory read. Now I listen to the audio, and because it just tells you how you've really got to adjust your projections. If you want successful, you have to be the supreme fan of your ultimate goals and objectives, and go outside the box. We're in this exponential technology thing, and using things like crowdsourcing. Some things that you and I have talked about. We want to reinvigorate the Hall of Fame using those crowdsourcing and crowdfunding, because we've got so much potential there. It's very exciting to work with Ken St. Clair. We'll be discussing some of his stuff coming up here. In fact, we'll have him on the show here shortly. But because he thinks in terms of historical archiving and the being stewards of the industry, we have to take the knowledge we have and put it into the new technology modules and the new accessibility through the new technologies. And we do it through the video primarily. But because we have a generation coming behind us that's trying to struggle, find their way in this IoT world, and if they don't get their place in there, we're going to be superseded. Our industry will be subsumed by somebody else's industry that is saying you guys took too long or too slow and you didn't understand where your opportunities were. So that's my goal is to get really stay hip, stay working with people that are current, that really love the industry, believe in it, and help document and make the industry just a permanent position. Where people can always say the HVAC industry is just one of the most important elements of modern life.
No, I think very well said, Kenny. And we will have Ken Sinclair on in a few minutes. I think The Bold is an appropriate book to be talking about with Ken Sinclair. The January issues on the street, and transformation is one of the key things he talks about. And Bold is all about how people transform businesses and the world. So we got that, Kenny. The other one we got is kind of personal. You and I both have a birthday coming up in 2016 that ends in a 0. And for our Control Trends community who wants to guess what age would Ken and I, and another hint, Pat Marcella from M&M Controls, turn in 2016, reach out in comments. And if you get it right, we might give you might give you a really special prize, but we'll have to see. So one of my goals, Kenny, is I want to be in the best shape I've ever been in by the time I turn that particular 0. So I'm going to start working out and all that other good stuff. So we'll see if we can pull that off. So anyway, it's good stuff. And speaking of that, I mean, I think one of the ways to kick the 2016 off is the 2015 Control Trends Awards, which is going to be bigger and better than ever in Orlando, Florida. So we're getting a lot of questions from people about when it is, where it is, when the voting ends. So Kenny, what do you say we take a minute and just sort of walk through that real quick?
I'd love to, Eric. And again, we've made it very accessible for organizations to post. Please come to the Control Trends. There's some hot links there. But in essence, what it is, it's in Orlando, right outside of where you're going to go to the conference, the HR Expo, is at the Orlando Convention Center. We are going to be approximately 5 miles from there at a place called Universal Studios, the Hard Rock Cafe. Actually, part of the Hard Rock Cafe is the Hard Rock Live, where they actually do the concerts and the large events, and we are going to be in that Hard Rock Live. And the event starts at 6:30 to 9:30. There will be an opportunity for people involved in some of the VIP activities, the platinum sponsors for sure. They'll probably want to get there right around 6-ish because we're going to be doing photo ops. We're going to have some really neat stuff. We're going to have the traditional Control Trends Awards where we have the red carpet area, the Hollywood atmosphere, because this place really is conducive for that. So then we're going to have a champagne up in the John Lennon Suite area. So how to get to Universal Studios is you can't miss it. If you're driving around Orlando in any of the beltways, you'll see signs for Universal Studios. So that's going to be your primary direction. You're going to come towards Universal Studio, and it'll give you choices for valet parking or self-parking. And valet parking is probably all in all the best bet because it's going to get you closest to the actual event, the location, the physical location of the event, and then you'll have greater accessibility when you come out. You'll just be able to give your ticket and get valeted back. Cabs or whatever, team driving, bus drivers. We have some people that are taking 20, 30 people there. If you're on your own, then basically you're going to have to get there early enough to walk from the self-parking area to the Universal Studio entrance. You'll come through the City Walk. And then you'll be right at the forefront of the Universal Studios, which is an amazing place. The Hard Rock Cafe is right there. It's the gateway to Universal Studios. We'll be on the left-hand side of that. You can't miss it. They have a marquee. It's about 20 foot by 20 foot, and you'll see the CTA awards will be visible as soon as you begin your walk through the City Walk. You'll be able to see exactly where to go. Look for the big, gigantic, oversized guitar. The interesting thing about the Hard Rock Live is it's designed after the Coliseum. There's a lot of artistic stuff there, a lot of neat stuff that when you get there, if you come early, you'll be able to kind of enjoy the ambience. And then we're going to kick off with just a tremendous show. In review of that, we have 22 categories. There's a lot of serious competition going on between vendors, support people of the year, third-party solutions. Everything to do with BAS and HVAC is what we're doing. So.
It's going to be huge, Kenny. It's going to be absolutely huge. And listen, you said a lot there, so I want to back up a couple of minutes. Yeah, sure. It's going to be the biggest, most spectacular show yet. Some people are asking, well, when do you arrive? Well, if you're with a platinum sponsor, you're going to want to arrive between 6 and 6:30 because you're going to have the opportunity to go up to the John Lennon Suite with our platinum sponsors. That's one of the things the platinum sponsors are able to offer their guest. And the other question we're getting, Kenny, is where do I get my tickets? Well, the platinum sponsors and the sponsors are the ones who really have the tickets. We will have individual tickets for sale. They're $325 a piece. So really encourage you to reach out to one of the platinums there on the website or one of the sponsors because they'll have tickets as part of their sponsorship. So that's really the best way to get in. So the tickets will be $325 a piece. We'll have those online where you can go and purchase those. So you need to arrive probably, if you're with a platinum sponsor, between 6 and 6:30. You'll be able to walk the red carpet. You'll be able to have your photo ops. If you haven't been to a Control Trends a Control Trends awards event before, Kenny and I are very meticulous about the models that we pick, and we also have some special other guests that you'll want to have photo ops with. So it's going to be spectacular. So you definitely want to reach out, make plans to be there. It's going to be the Sunday evening before the show, and it'll run from 6:30 till probably about 9:30, Kenny, about 3 hours.
9:30, yes.
Yeah, full meal, full bar. So it's going to be the place to be in Orlando that Sunday night.
And don't forget that we have these other really important awards and recognitions to give out. We're going to have the Cybersecurity Award given by our guy from CoreTech, Fred Gordy. We've got the P-Talk Award. It's always just one of the most important events, presentations of the year. We've got the Hall of Fame inductees. We're going to be doing something very special for the industry. Hans Kranz will be here from Germany. We're going to celebrate the fabulous career that Hans had that goes back to 1975 with IBM, and basically, just an extraordinary history that we have and we share. Again, thanks to Ken St. Clair, we're able to incorporate this into our event. So, and then we have AHR. We're going to recognize AHR for the 86 years of the Service Industry Award. These guys, incredible family, the Clay family, basically have been the caretakers of our industry. I mean, they literally draw the string around the entire globe that unites all the component people, manufacturers, vendors, control manufacturers, periphery items, sensors, thermostats, everybody in the world that's in the controls and HVAC world come to the AHR shows. It's been going on for 86 years. They have a remarkable story. We're going to give them a industry service award. So it's going to be fun to be, just kind of be, in the air to feel that, sensational.
The word momentous and historical comes to mind, Kenny, because also BACnet will be giving out their first award. That's a new category we have where BACnet will actually be picking, BACnet International will actually be picking out the winner of that award. And then Haystack Connect, there's going to be a Haystack Award. They will be recognizing either a company or individuals within the industry that have furthered the Haystack cause. So the reach is getting a lot wider, and I think we're bringing more and more superstars into the fold.
Well, just talking about that reach real quick, Eric. We have 80 countries are involved with Control Trends organization, ControlTrends.org, but we have 43 participating countries voting right now in the Control Trends Awards. So that's really exciting. And I didn't mean to cut you off there, but No, 43 countries.
So Kenny, real quick, while we're talking about the voting, so 43 countries have voted so far. Tell our listeners when the voting ends and what they have to do to vote if they haven't voted already.
Yes, Eric. The voting's going to stop 15th of January, and then there'll be the tally time. And to vote, there's many ways to vote, but most importantly, you come to ControlTrends.org on the right-hand side of the website of the actual Control Trends website. You'll see the Control Trends logo and it'll say "Vote Here," and so you just have to go through the sign-on, and you'll have to give us your email address, and then you'll go through the voting procedure. And it's just been remarkable. It's exciting. I don't know. I don't know how things are going to work because there's from all over the world involved, and it's good to see some of the big vendors that have got their social media, their networks involved, and
that's great. It's great stuff, Kenny. Yeah. And I think the other thing is, remember, you can take that ballot, you can forward it to your network to vote. So you can copy the link, forward it out. Again, Kenny, there's some stuff you do have to fill out, so we make sure that people are not stuffing the ballot box, if you will. And we will not be sending you any emails or your network any emails. That's not the point of this. The only point in asking for information like your company and email address is to make sure that the voting is fair. Well, and speaking of fair, Kenny, we got our guy Ken St. Clair is teed up on the other line, ready to go. So why don't you introduce Ken real quick, and let's bring him on the show, big dog.
Eric, I'd love to. Ken St. Clair is the owner, editor of Automated Buildings. This is his January 2016 edition of Automated Buildings. And, again, I could talk about Ken St. Clair all day because it was a discovery for me maybe about 10 years ago. I came across Automated Buildings. And that's what he's talking about in this. We'll be talking to him about the length, the longevity, the incredible storage of information there. And he really he goes into it deep this year. In this first edition, because he said the transition to a new year causes us to reflect on previous years. The future is falling on us fast, but we must be the force that provides linkage to the past, and more importantly, to the existing. Only we as an industry have the skill and knowledge. This is not an IoT thing. This is us. So it was really cool. It was about the IOP.
Well,
Internet
cool. Well, with that, let's bring our friend Ken St. Clair on to the show. Welcome
Ken.
to
the show, Ken.
Happy New Year to all the folks watching Control Trends.
Well, and Happy New Year to you too, and Happy New Year to the Automated Buildings community. And Ken, so it's a big year, 2016. Any recaps on 2015 before we start talking about the January issue? How do you think history will remember 2015, control-wise?
Well, there's just a lot of transformation went on. We slowly started walking across the floor from dusty old building automation ways into the world of IoT, and I think we're still struggling with that transition, which I've come to call a transformation because it's much more significant than just a transition. And of course that evolves into our theme that we ended up with, like, what is our role in the transformation? And what I'm seeing is we get confused, I think, as an industry, that we touch the IT industry and we think we are the IoT industry. But in fact, the value we all add is our deep knowledge of automation, integration, connectivity, all these things we've been doing for years. And I think that's the value we add. And we are the force of reason. It's pretty easy to do anything in IoT. So I think what we have to do is we have to be the filter, and we have to be the strength in that. So anyway, that's kind of the twist. So that's my take on the transition from 2015 to 2016.
Well, Ken, real quick, you use a couple interesting phrases here. You said, to you, what is the difference between a transition and a transformation?
A transition, in my mind, is just a moving from one way of doing things to another way, and the transition in between. A transformation is more like standing up, moving over, and going to a new table and playing a new game. And I think that's where we're exactly at. It's a whole new game. The way things are done, the way things were done 2-3 years ago is completely different because of cloud connectivity and all of the stuff that's going on. So that's what I see the transformation is. In fact, we started this way back when we got going with the connected building theme, and we tried to identify what was a connected building, what would be the ultimate connected building. We did this project a little bit with BC Hydro, and I think it was actually Paul Europe that came back and said that the connectivity was not possible without transformation of the industry. And I kind of picked up on that and I've been beating on that drum ever since. And it's not just a transition, it's a transformation. You have to turn yourself into something else. Except I think there was some confusion there that what we might be turning ourselves into was IoT folks. And that has to be part of what we do, but we don't need to become IoT folks. There's plenty of those around. What we need to do is to basically look at what is happening and see how that is going to transform our industry. We are the wisdom. We are the uh, we are the industry, so we need to be here and help that evolve.
Well, Ken, if I might interject, I just wanted to kind of step back and because we're talking about transforming into a new, I just wanted to congratulate Automated Buildings and you, because it's no secret you're in your 18th year. You've had over 160 issues online. You've been the Rock of Gibraltar, one of the rocks of Gibraltar for our industry. And I think it's important before we can actually know exactly where we want to go and how we want to transform. I think we have to really understand where we came from and how much of this futuristic, developments were actually put in place a long time ago. And it's more of a manifestation of some of the technology coming together where we're actually open, we're collaborating. And so as we transform, I just wanted to appreciate the fact that you're calling these shots out and that you're giving the guidance for these people, and that we're very appreciative too of the support you're giving the Control Trends Awards at the show. You're going to be part of the Young Guns, and that is our I think that's the force too. That's the young people coming in that actually sees the IoT, understand it. They're going to earn their places and roles in the future of BAS and HVAC. So I just wanted to do a big shout out and thanks for all the great work you've done.
Ditto, Ken.
Great. Actually, just all those words you just said there, Ken, thank you very much for them. But it triggered a couple of thoughts. This month we have an article from Steve Tom of Automated Logic, one of the original Automated Logic players, and I think I gave you guys a jab about the museum. But what I've done is I've actually written a piece just that chats a little bit about how Automated Logic kind of led us into web-based control. And that's several years ago, but a lot of the articles that they actually provided, they were certainly leaders in that field. They did the transition from BDC, they did the transition to web control, and now they're, of course, a part of the Carrier Corporation under anyway, it was interesting that we kind of see these evolutions, and they've been around long enough that I can kind of see it coming. And I do think that the transformation is just another one of those. And as for the Young Gun program you've got going at CPA, of course, we extremely applaud that. And more than anything, that is what is making the transformation work, is these young people, they come with the IoT skills, and they know no other way. So for them, it's easy, and they are questioning everything we are doing. And rather than, as old guys, holding them from doing their job, it's time to back off and guide them into helping us with the transformation. They are the reason. They are the way transformation is going to occur. We are us old guys in the industry are the reason, the logic. You could say, well, that sounds fantastic, but this is going to happen. But we can't stop them. The transformation will occur. I think that's another thing we have to wrestle with, is we can't just say, well, that's too scary, that we don't want to have that information out in public domain and come up with a whole bunch of stop statements. We need to get our heads where their heads are and work out the logics of how this all has to happen.
Ken, one of my teachers, a brilliant guy named Marshall Thurber, used to say that there are two types of change. There's what he called a structural change or a cyclical change. A cyclical change is like the stock market. It goes up and down. Fashion goes up and down. The skirts go up and down. The ties get skinnier or fatter. A structural change comes along, once in an eon or so. And a structural change is something like when the car was invented. It didn't matter how good your horse and buggy was, you were eventually going to lose out to the automobile. Probably the same thing with the typewriter and the computer. So it's two different strategies. In a structural change, in a cyclical change, the strategy is to try to time it, right, and to get in sync with it. But with a structural change, he says that you have to embrace it or you die and become extinct. Would you say that we are in a structural change right now in our industry?
For sure, for sure. I think the greatest example of that is just the things we do every day with our phone, or actually watching our children, just how they interact, how they use text, how they have a whole different way of communicating, how all of these social media pieces are evolving. It's getting pushed. It's not getting pushed from the industry. It's getting pushed around the dinner table.
Well said, Ken. Well said. So it seems like you're really reaching out and embracing this. So the January issue of Automated Buildings has hit the streets. So be sure to check that out, automatedbuildings.com. Ken, I also looked at it. It looks like you've got some groups. It looks like you've got a LinkedIn group for the younger people, as well as a couple of other LinkedIn groups. Tell our audience a little bit about those groups and how they can get involved.
The first one is just it started out as a who's who in the large building automation industry, and it's been truly amazing. The who's who's in the automation building turned into all the folks that are actually coming into the industry, which of course involves a lot of these IoT folks. It involves a lot of the large manufacturers of equipment, the OEMs. The OEM folks, an interesting thing that we sometimes could talk about in a separate piece, in the fact that they are getting hit with this IoT transformation, and it is transforming their equipment. And we're starting to see more pieces of equipment that are coming with integral control pieces that have cloud services, and so that's another big piece of it. So anyway, lots of changes going on there.
Okay, Ken, as Eric said, the 2005, what was historic about it? How can we summarize it? And I think we did a great job of that. I think you kind of really pushed it. So in 2016, just in a general sense, where do you see our progress? Tree Sullivan, for instance, always makes an issue about the rate of adoption, how we have all the technology, and Jim Young, he'll tell you too, and Howard Berger, we've got it all here, guys. What are the pushbacks, blowbacks, or headwinds or handicaps of people in the industry, not necessarily the providers, but the customers and the end users? Do you think this will be the year we really see a much greater rate of adoption of all this technology is available? We're all poised and ready to provide it.
Yeah, I think we already have seen a rush of adoption, and I think what we need is a documenting of our success. We're at that stage in this whole equation. It's good you mentioned Therese, because she's working with the HVAC folks, and very soon she's going to be rolling out a HVAC newsletter, which is good news. And actually, I saw that John had announced that on the HVAC forum as well. So I guess it's not unknown, I guess. So anyway, that's going. So yes, I think there's been a lot of interesting stuff done. In the first stage of adoption, what happens is people do things and they think that they're the only person in the world doing it. And so therefore, I'm not going to tell any of my other control competitors that I did that, because if I do, I'll lose. That's my advantage, that I understand this better than they do. But of course, what that does is it tends to slow the acceptance in the fact that we don't realize so many projects are actually done. And you wouldn't believe the amount of stories that I know of that I'm not allowed to print. And that's the reason, is the manufacturer or the vendor does not want to share that information. So I think we need to work harder and harder with the collaboration. I'm hoping that our education sessions at AHR will help in that area. We've got our transformation of building automation industry is our main theme, and then we've got what that really means to staffing people. We've got a session on that, and then of course I'm looking towards the connection community collaboration, which you guys have always filmed for us. Looking forward to hearing some of the answers to the question you just asked at that, and I would be real pleased that the program's not only film that, but actually jump up and ask some of the questions and get involved in that collaboration a little bit more than I have before. I mean, you've been the documenters of it, but it would be at this point, I think it's time for you to see.
But no, it's great. So the collaboration, speak a bit about that event. When's that going to be at AHR? Do you have the dates and time handy? If not, we'll make sure we post it on Control Trends.
Well, I have them if you don't.
Yeah, it's Tuesday at
1:30?
1:30, I believe, yeah. And it's in the same room as our education sessions, which we have a couple of icons on our website about AHR. So it's on the AHR education session. So if you click there, you can get the details and all the players and even a little bit of insight and links to some articles. The other thing we've prepared that may be of use for folks that are thinking of going to those is we created a required reading list. And it's basically just some of the material we have on our site that is from the people who will be speaking. So I think by reading a few articles by someone, you can kind of get their twist in what they might be talking about. So I think that would be quite useful if you're, it's probably if you just showed up and just opened up the door and walked in and said, what are these people talking about? But there's a lot of history, a lot of insight. This is our fourth one, I think, and so it's kind of been an ongoing saga of collaboration and of course it'll all surround transformation.
Okay, I'd have to admit I was very impressed last year. I was there, and I think anytime you go to an event and spend time and invest time, like you say, and go to a filtered event. In other words, this isn't random. This is probably the most concise, condensed collaboration in our industry. It's very important to be there, and there's going to be a limited space. So I suggest everybody make an effort to get there and get there early. But the thing I wanted to transition to here was BACnet. The International BACnet Conference. We know that Andy McMillan just got back from Shenzhen, China. We know that Hans Kranz is going to be inducted into the Control Trends Hall of Fame. And just, if you will, BACnet is one of those stories too. It's a long journey. It started out, I read some of those articles you posted there about the first BMS and BAS and monitoring was done in 1974 or 75. And we saw how the evolution of a protocol gets started and then take global collaboration and then be successful year in and year out and then have a very exciting resurgence. Tell us a little bit about what the state of BACnet is and some of these folks we mentioned.
It's been a long journey for all. And I was really pleased last year that you honored Mike Newman, and this year we're going to do Hans. There's lots of other folks that have been at it from the early days. Raymond Ray of Delta Controls was one of them, and of course Andy McMillan as well, which I believe you're going to have a lot of these folks involved in CPA, which is great. The BACnet journey is one. There's some other journeys that have gone on there too, like the Modbus journey, the Zigbee journey. It's great to be able to kind of have basically follow these on an automated building site Actually, the site has become a good documentation of the whole history. Just the fact that it's remained in the same place. The fact that it's old and dusty is sometimes advantage, because in fact it still all fits together, and you can actually display articles from the 1990s, which 1999 and stuff. So you can kind of put that all in. But yes, back to the transformation and BACnet. I wrote an article for the journal, for the BACnet journal, and it was talked all about it was kind of satire, I guess, on backpack growing up. And the BACnet, of course, was about 20 years. And what I did is I kind of spun it that BACnet was like the college kid who was going out into the world. And we've kind of done about as much as we can with BACnet. And now it's time to release them and send them off into the world. I assume the male gender. I'm not sure if that's correct or not, but anyway, it's so that was sort of the play on it. And I think all of us as an industry have to guide not only BACnet but all of our standards, and we have to keep them out of the sleazy bars, and we have to put them in positions where they can be best used, and we have to support them as only we can as an industry. But by the same token, we need to set them free. So if somebody wants to take the BACnet standard and do something with it that is not allowed by BACnet standards, we have to kind of dig into that and say, would that help or hinder BACnet in the world? And certainly there is a bit of a collision between BACnet and IP waste, and I think ultimately you might see some of that evolve.
Do you mean like an open source, more open source, like almost like the Haystack people invite people to go in and actually help, co-write and generate more?
Very much so. I was actually at a meeting in Seattle where Carl Nelson spoke, and I was totally amazed. Actually, in that whole conference, Haystack was mentioned 4 or 5 times. And basically what they explained is how they were modifying their standard to deal with open somatics. And they were acknowledging that Haystack was certainly the leader, but may in fact not be the only standard that is going to come in and interface with BACnet. So they always have to keep looking at the bigger picture. And I think that's the other challenge for BACnet now, is they're going to have to keep writing hooks and handles, as I would call it, to tie into ever which way some of these IoT standards, which there will never be standards, but they'll be, it's just when these big companies start doing stuff a certain way, once you cross over that 10 to 20 million people using it, it doesn't matter if it's not a standard. It's starting to become a way of life. So maybe that's what they're going to have to do, is build hooks and handles to this way of life.
So there you have it, Ken Sinclair, automatedbuildings.com. The Automated Buildings January issue is on the street, so be sure to check it out. Hey, Ken, man, thanks for taking a few minutes to talk with us.
Thanks a lot, Ken.
All right, Kenny, so it was great to get that from Ken Sinclair. Hey, we got a couple posts this week. What do we have up first, Big Dog?
All righty, Eric. Next up, we have Dwyer Series EWDP wireless communication adjustable differential pressure switch. This is a neat little product. It has in-ocean capability. It's your typical dual scaled adjustment in inches of water column, pascals, but it allows to change the pressure set point to be made without a pressure gauge, which is awesome. It has a battery powered switch, and it's equipped with the radio module for frequencies of 902 or 868 megahertz. Just an amazing product. Please visit Control Trends, and we also have a video there of the MagnaSense DP transmitter, the installation Part 1, and it's a great background into differential pressure, into static pressure for VAV applications and the like.
Well, I tell you what, it sure is, Kenny. And I tell you what, Dwyer came on as a platinum sponsor, as our community knows, and what a great company. And I tell you, if you start thinking about the peripheral product vendor of the year, the peripheral product of the year category between Dwyer, ACI, functional devices, and some of the others, who else we have? It's going to be a really, really hotly contested category.
We should do, Eric. We have Thermocon and Ocean Sensors. We have Contemporary Controls. We have Sierra Monitoring Corporation and Dent Instruments, all for the peripheral product of the year.
Very, very cool, buddy. All right, what do we have up next, my man?
Alrighty, Eric. Next up, we have Honeywell Smart Solutions for the Intelligent Buildings Web AX. The Smart Solution for Intelligent Buildings. This is a really neat, upgrade to the existing Honeywell Web AX because it adds Niagara 4. Honeywell is now just really taken charge on the opportunities that Niagara 4 give you as far as your data analytics. Your feature benefits are amazing. I just happen to have them right here. We have the end users are able to easily customize dashboards, advanced charting and visualization, data tagging, tag-based navigation, device templating, data cleansing capabilities. There's that term again, data cleansing. The Niagara Station search, just a whole bunch more of upgraded features and benefits with the Niagara 4 added to the Webs AX. Visit your Webs AX distributor and they can tell you more about it.
Very, very cool, Kenny. And again, Honeywell, as well as Vicon, Tritium, both sponsors at the Control Trends Awards. So they've got quite a few nominees on there. Everybody from Larry Andrianis for the PID Award to Larry Weber for HVAC Executive of the Year, as well as Nino DeCosmo from Tritium. So
John Hutchie for tech support.
John Hutchie for tech support. James Johnson for tech support. So again, it's really starting to shape up to be a very exciting Control Trends Award. So if you haven't voted yet, take a second. You can find the ballot right on the side of the Control Trends site. Just go through it, do your votes. Be sure to forward that ballot out to the rest of your community, and stay tuned because the big event's happening at the end of the month. All right, Kenny, is it time for Ken's calendar yet?
It's time for Ken's calendar. Get all the information you need on upcoming events, including training classes, webinars, and conferences. All the event news you need right here, right now. Take it away, Ken.
All right, Eric. Well, again, the start of 2016, and I can't believe it's 2016 already. It's incredible. Obviously, we've got the Control Trends Awards on January 24th. We have the AHR show from the 25th to the 27th. But prior to that, we have a Grid Modernization Forum. It's January 19th and the 20th, and that's in Chicago. We have some EasyIO training popping up. We've got classes right now, January 21st in Denver. We have the 26th in Orlando. That's the advanced training. The 28th in Atlanta, basic. And then 29th in Atlanta, advanced. EasyIO is really bringing the training out. It's just having a tremendously successful entrance to 2016. That EasyIO FG32 Plus is a real knockout controller. And then they're going to be going up to New York City, the 1st of February. So we move on to March 22nd through the 24th. We have the National Facility Managers meeting in the Baltimore, Maryland area. And then we have a big show coming up, a really big show, the Niagara Summit 2016, May 15th through the 17th in New Orleans. So please visit the site, take those hot links, and register.
There you have it, Ken's calendar, giving you all the controls event news you need. All right, Kenny, what do we have up next on Control Trends?
Well, before we get to the New Year's Eve celebration, we have Therese Sullivan interviews Connex Energy's Anno Shelton. And Anno's is talking about the 6 new routes to market for smart building technology. And this is a really good post because Therese believes that there's these mysterious pushback headwinds that are delaying the adaptation and adoption of all this technology we have ready for the business markets and for the smart building markets. And Anno is mentioning that there's now 6 forces that are going to make these headwinds go away. And I'll name a couple, but please visit the site and read through it because it's a great read. And then we link you to Teresa's website where she has several more just very current, very important editorial type commentaries on our business, smart building business. But the utilities, one of the stickiness factors is huge with utilities because of their near monolithic hold on customers that they've enjoyed over the years. Well, that's being changed in certain regions, and that's going to be a big hit. And then two is the mechanical and electrical design firms have a stickiness challenge as well. They see smart buildings technology as a way to extend their stay in the customer's budgets, minds, and hearts. Traditionally, owners see them as the truest advisors throughout the design and construction phase, but this is also changing because it's evolving into more of the systems integrators fields. We, as distributors with our systems integrators, now have a greater impact on these building owners. And there's 4 more items that Anna brings up for great review. And please visit the site and check them out.
Very, very cool, Kenny. All right. Is that it?
Well, there's just a Happy New Year's to the worldwide Control Trends community. We took the liberty of posting some 80 New Year's Eve greetings in 80 different languages. And I just, I knew 3 of them, but it's just got a kick out of it because we do have over 80 countries that visit the Control Trends organization website on a daily basis. And it's just a great thing. It's a growing community, and it's global in scale. With the Control Trends Awards, we've got participation from over 43 countries, or over 40 countries. We have 43 countries right now. So that's the wrap for this week.
All right, well, there you have it. Another week on Control Talk Now, the Smart Buildings Podcast, the first one for the year 2016. My name is Eric Stromquist, and as usual, I've been joined by the man, the myth, the legend. A special thanks to all our sponsors for the 2015 Control Trends Awards, and our guest this week, the one and only Ken Sinclair from AutomatedBuildings.com. Be sure to check him out. And with that, Kenny, I'll leave you with have a great day, and remember, stay in control.
Indeed, Eric.
Indeed, Kenny Smyers.